Everyone, welcome to the Seeds of Success podcast, hosted by Dottie San Martin and myself, Orly Rivera. This show is your weekly dose of knowledge, insights, and actionable tips to transform centers into striking successes. Whether you're a seasoned industry professional or just stepping onto the lanes, we've got you covered. Dottie, I was just a heads up. I was just putting in some time off. I hope you're going to approve me because I'm ready for spring break. It's coming up soon, and I know I'm excited for it. I got a bunch of things planned out. We've talked about in the past, if you are running a center, there's some things you want to have planned out too when it comes to spring break, correct?
Yes, you're absolutely right. And, in a bowling center, Orly, spring break brings in customers that aren't coming in on a routine basis a lot of times.
Yeah.
You've got those students that are home for college that are coming back, and you've got babysitters that are, now these after school programs aren't in place. So we have babysitters, and the babysitters are looking for something to do with the children. So you have an influx of people that may not be your everyday customer coming in on a routine basis, right? They may come in at Christmas, they may come in at spring break and other school holidays.
And for example, near me, you have, I'm here in Wisconsin, and we have a lot of people from Chicago that come to this area. They have lake homes and stuff. So yeah, you have, a different crowd of people coming in. So yeah.
Yeah. And so it's really a great opportunity. Orly, you and I have been talking a lot on the fact that today we really reframe the business that we're in. We really are in the business of entertainment, right?
Yeah.
And making sure that we're delivering experiences for our guests that come into our centers. And it's really important as spring break is coming up to remember that you are able to deliver these wonderful experiences in your bowling center. So don't get caught in that rut of turning on your lanes and just letting customers find what it is that you have for their entertainment options, because that's not the way these wonderful systems are created. They are created for the entertainment value that they offer. Every experience can be different. But if the customer does not realize that there's choices, then they're likely going to just continue bowling, and just whatever the default is for that day is what they're going to use. So, okay. So what is the point I'm trying to make here, Orly? I'm making several points, but this is the time that you want to make sure that those customers that are coming through your doors, that may not be a customer, a routine customer, an everyday customer, knows what they can choose. And perhaps that doesn't always mean that the front desk person is going to take that opportunity to say something, right? But you can have things around your center that's going to lead them. Like you can leverage your monitors to make sure that they're showcasing some of the different things that they can play or the different environments that they can experience. You can also even kind of repurpose some of your employees during this time. And so by that, I mean, if your birthday parties are, lower because spring break, the kids don't have access to their friends or whatever to distribute the invitations, and your birthday parties are down, then, perhaps consider giving your birthday party hostess a few hours to go down and mingle with your customers and say, oh, well, did you know that you can I see that you're playing U-Tunes, but your picture's not up there. Can I show you we can actually put your face in there. And little things like that, because first of all, that interaction, not to encourage them to be a nuisance to your customers. Nobody wants that, but just casual conversation, right?
Yeah. And I think, and I've talked about this on previous shows. I was big on, if I was at the front desk, I would always ask, the first question would be, have you guys bowled here before? And if they said no, I would be, oh, let me take you down there and, let me help you guys get signed in. And, sometimes, you might get somebody that says, oh, we'll figure it out. But then I just like to let them know everything is there. So I'm like, oh, let me just show you, there's a bunch of different games, fun games for kids. And then they're kind of a little bit entertained. So they're like, okay. Yeah. And then you start showing them the stuff. And that makes a huge difference, because they came in with the mindset that they're just going to bowl regular, which is fine. But when you start showing them all these games and, kids games, maybe Monster Factory or U-Tunes, like that's a whole different ball game, and they have a blast. And, if they get to do those games, that's going to, they have fun. That's going to bring them back another time. They're going to have just a lot of fun. And you did point something out about having somebody else, maybe take care of that or go down there and teach people. I think that's important too. And just making sure your staff does know they need to do that. There's been plenty of times where I would be, hey, make sure you're asking people if they're, if they've bowled here before. And then what happens? I walk away and I see a customer come in and I hear the person say, okay, your lane's lane 12. And I'm like, I just told you to ask. You know what I mean? Sometimes I get it. They're shy. Your staff might be a little shy or, and that's why you got to find that person, maybe your birthday party person that has no problem talking, or someone like us, right? We have no problem. You tell us to go talk to people, we're going to talk to them all day. So yeah, that's important that you're kind of getting that, you're educating them on what you have so they could use that stuff and have more fun and hopefully return.
Sure. And Orly, you did say something that I want to talk about. With it being spring break, it is going to be busy. So be realistic with your expectations. So I certainly wouldn't expect the front counter to take the time with every single guest that comes in to explain what your entertainment experience can offer today, because that's unrealistic. And there's no way the line would be out the door, right? Or that's the hope, right? I hope your center is busy during spring break. But to make plans to figure out how you're going to get that message to the customer. I know there's a lot of centers that have like a little menu that shows what all options are available in the entertainment experience. That's a good way if you don't have the staff to do it. But look at it in advance and make sure that those people that are coming in for events like that and times like that are being exposed to all your bells and whistles that you have, right?
Yeah, another idea you could do is if you have a monitor behind you at your front desk, run some cool games up there, video of the games. And that way they might ask like, oh, what's that? Or do you guys have that available? Yeah, well, we could tell you how to do it or take someone down there, because that's going to get them a little curious and start asking questions.
Yes, absolutely. And, a lot of that experience, again, I guess what I'm trying to say is, we want to put our best foot forward. We want to show everything that we have available, because it's those experiences that keep customers coming back. And it's also those experiences that people are willing to pay for. And with technology, especially with technology, for example, the Neoverse, the LED wall, that's amazing, because that becomes part of the experience that really takes no explanation. It just, your eyes gravitate towards it. It's entertaining. And so that's easy to incorporate into that experience. But, I'm thinking as we're talking about that and spring break and Neoverse, wouldn't it be cool to kind of take your guests away to the islands in Hawaii? And can you imagine doing that?
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Fun with it.
Yeah. And, post that to your social media. Hey, can't make it to the beach this spring break? Come on into Orly's Lanes. We'll have the water flowing on our Neoverse wall. You and I are always on the same page when it comes to that. But can you just visualize that? Having the Neoverse wall and even encouraging your employees to, maybe they could wear Hawaiian shirts, or let's have a limbo contest, or oh boy, here we go. We're going down that rabbit hole again, right? Sign me up. I'm ready.
Yeah, absolutely. But the point, listeners, that we're trying to make is when you have customers that are not customers that are coming in on a routine basis, make sure you're pulling out all the stops. Show them what you've got. Be proud of what you've got, and make sure that you're delivering that experience that's going to make them want to come back more often than, just the next time school's out, right?
Yeah.
So, and you've got the tools available. Technology helps us out a whole lot when it comes to that. You just have to make sure that you're exposing your customer to those experiences.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready for some limbo and mocktails, because we're on the clock, right? And
there you go.
Fun.
I'm still thinking about the beginning of this episode here where you were saying time off. So, I think it's time to wrap this up so I can go see what this is all about here.
Right. If not, I think I feel a little sore throat coming on.
There you go. Well, listeners, thank you so much for joining us today. We continue to put out little seeds that we hope that you can nurture and grow and learn from, and keep accelerating the growth of your business. Remember, Share this podcast with your entire team, because the more seeds you plant, the bigger the crop. Until next time, keep growing your business one happy customer at a time.